GoGoMediaGirl, and I'm in Parktown with Sisanda. Wabe. So what do you do?
Now I'm seated.
Like, what's your job?
Okay, I'm an actress, I'm a model, and I'm a writer. And over and above, I'm a professional communication specialist. As you can see, I'm at this office holding the head of communications position.
How do you fit all that into one tight schedule?
Well, just to sleep 2 hours and then do the rest while you're awake. That's how I do it. And my family inside. Yeah, but there's not much that I'm able to do. But I try to put my priorities first, which is my profession. First, my family is my priority, and then my profession and my career. So it seems like they're all together, but I know how to schedule it around. First things first.
Sounds hard because you're being writer, model, actress, all that stuff.
So I write at night when I'm going home, like when people think, okay, we've knocked off, I go home, start afresh and write. I write short films. I'm in a period whereby I'm writing a book about myself. I'm not really the one writing it, but I just give details on what happened. So there is a specified writer who is doing that for us.
Okay.
Yeah.
And like, where do you model and stuff? Where are you based?
Well, I do most of my work, especially modeling, in Europe, because that's where they have a market for people with skin color like mine. They like it brown, so I'm not going to say black because I'm not black, I'm brown. So they use that most of the cases. So I have worked with Kristen Dio, I have worked with Roberto Baggio. I've worked with quite a number of local Italian designers that usually hire me, and some in Düsseldorf in Germany. So they usually hire me. During this period, if it wasn't for this project, I could be in Europe by now, busy touring around and working. So unfortunately this year, just been back in May, and then I never went in Europe. I've been just outside of around these places, so I miss it and slightly bored being around, but that's okay.
What did you say you write about again?
Right now I'm doing about a story of my life. I'll give you just a slight page on what exactly happened in my life. Pardon that. It is quite a very interesting background that I grew up from. I think I'm going to need a tissue for you so that you don't cry, you know, because it's kind of sad. But if you're strong, I can tell you.
Okay.
You strong?
Yeah.
Okay, let's go. So, yeah, what happened was when I was born, I was raised by a single parent where my mom and my dad were together, but not really. So I only could see my dad like once a year, and he was not looking after us. My mom was looking after us. She was not working, so every morning she would go to people's houses and do their laundry and do their cooking and, you know, being a housekeeper for people, you know. And we were 9 of us at home, 5 of my mom's kids, and then 2 of my half-brothers, and then 2 of my one uncle and 1 auntie, which they were very young, but they are my mama's siblings. So it was never easy, never easy. We would, you know, if we have a small portion of food, we're all going to scratch each other, trying to make sure that, you know, I get myself filled. And we would eat even, I don't know if you know something called bab, if you know bab,
Yeah.
right?
Oh,
So we would, when you cook bab, it's usually get dry down there, it get banned, you know? So we would even eat the darkest part of that thing simply because we were hungry, there was no food to eat. So my mom was suffering quite very badly. You know, she would plow people's garden from the morning till the sunset. You know, in my hometown, it's quite very hot, like extremely hot. We sometimes go to 34 degrees. So it would really be hot, but she's going to be standing there and doing all those things all by herself just to make sure that we go to bed after we ate something. So it was never easy.
I just want to know, what is your hometown?
It's in northern KwaZulu-Natal. It's down the road, next to Mozambique. It's just a few meters away from Mozambique. It's 30-minute drive, actually, from that. We call it Emanguze, Kwangwanase, and mostly known as Kwamhlabiyalengana. And people think that there's a lot of witchcraft and a lot of sangomas and a lot of inyangas happening that side. I don't know, never seen any, but this is what we known of. But then, yeah, it's quite a very poor economy, community, if I could say. Not much of development happening. It's literally dead. You know, so people don't have much of ambitions. Like, you know, when I finish school, the finishing of school is matric. Once you finish high school, people sit at home and do nothing, you know. So I came out from that type of environment. So as I grew up, I always liked to model because I was very skinny. I was like extremely skinnier than what you see now. Because when I'm doing athletics, my mom would be very afraid and think that I would break because I was sprinting quite very fast, and my knees were very, you know, they would even think if she falls here, she'll trip and then break her leg because she's too skinny. Everything is just too close. So that was also caused by starvation because it was starving. It wasn't really that I'm skinny. Right now I'm skinny by choice because I just choose what I eat, and obviously to maintain my weight for my modeling career and stuff. But then at that time I was just skinny because I was not having food to eat. When people were saying people are hungry in Africa, that's actually true. I was one of those people that are really starving. So out of that, my mom worked. Later, she got a job as a hotel attendant. So they called them housekeepers still, you know, doing laundry, cleaning and whatsoever. Life went better, you know. We could eat like every day, every night, which is very nice to know that, you know, when you go home, there will be food, you know. In the midst of that, and so we were still suffering at home, I learned how to fish. I know how to fish because I had to fish so that I can bring food at home. I know how to hunt, you know, kill springbok and do all those things, yeah. And don't be... And then also, let me see what else I know. I've eaten almost anything in the wild, like all the wild fruits, even things that, you know, we don't know if it kills or it doesn't. We just taste, and if we don't die, we continue eating it, you know. So it was like that, but I enjoyed it. You know, I'm not feeling bad that I went through that. I believe that if there was somebody that has to go through that situation, it was myself, because I wouldn't wish anybody else to go through what I went through, because it was quite very tough. You know, I've done lot of stuff for survival. Worked, you know, go to help my mom, you know, doing the laundries and the ironing for other people. Never really having time to be like illegal and play around with your girls and stuff, because when other girls are playing, you should think, oh gosh, what am I going to eat tonight? So I got to help my mom to try and find something, you know, or go to the garden and fix something or plow something and things like that, you know. So after that, I always had this passion of being a model, you know. So when I see girls modeling, and I will start doing my own thing, you know, overdoing it, you know how people do it. But then I was always discouraged because people thought that I was ugly. They would always tell me, oh no, sit down, you're ugly. And I have this big voice. So people thought that, oh yeah, she's got a boy's voice type of thing, you know. I shouldn't be a model because I'm ugly, and I don't really even have features of being a model. So I'm just tall and ugly and skinny. It's just, you know, one of those things. So I grew up believing people when they say that, because when they would describe me, they'll say, oh, the ugly one, the black one. So they mean me. So everybody knew that, okay, I was that person. But frankly, there was this other day whereby some of the guys, the local guys, were organizing the beauty contest at my school, you know, and I was like, okay, okay, I think I could enter in this one. It was difficult for me though, because girls would have to wear shoes and everything. But because I was suffering from home, I didn't have shoes. I didn't even know, actually, not that I didn't know, it was difficult for me to wear shoes. You know, when even people would give me shoes, when I try to wear them, it was painful because my feet were not in a position where you can put shoes because they were all stretched like this, you know. So my toes were all stretched. So it was not easy to put on a shoe. And we put the shoe, I would walk like a duck or something. It was quite very painful. So I was also afraid to, you know, let people look at me and laugh at me. I would model better without shoes. But when I got shoes on, then it's difficult. But they were like, yeah, ma'am, you can't enter the competition without putting on heels. I'm like, I can't do a simple way of a shoe, so how about a heel? That's just, you know, out of question. So these guys, they made this competition, and I told my mom, like, you know, I would like to enter this thing. So she bought me her black wig. I put on that wig on, and when I was looking myself in the mirror, and I remember I took, you know, those chocolates, those gold chocolate wrappings that look like a foil, and then outside the golden stuff. Yeah. So I put that one on my tooth to make it like a gold tooth, you know, and then I press it in, and when I was looking at myself and doing like this, I thought I was hot, you know. From that moment, it was like, I don't care what they tell me, but I think I like what I see there. It might be black, it might be whatever that they think, but I think I'm good enough. I will enter in that competition, I don't care. So they went to the competition. I never told anybody except my one friend, whom we were coming from the similar background, you know, so we understood each other. She was also suffering from her own, her name is Bongile. So I then told her, I'm like, I'm going to enter the competition. Then she was like, you? They will laugh at you, you know that, right? I'm like, yeah, well, I know, but I'll give it a try, you know? So I went in there, and fortunately, the judges were not from our school. They were coming from another place, so they didn't know anything about me, you know? So I went in there, and believe you me, I rocked it. You know, I rocked that stage. I entered there. At first, it was difficult for me because the shoes were very painful, you know. So I started moving like I'm dancing to just accommodate the way that my shoes were making me uncomfortable, you know. So from there, I attracted the crowd to say, oh, wow, look at the way she walks. She's got a lot of confidence, you know. So when I was entering, people were booing me because I'm in the same school. So people call me ugly, so they know. They were going boo. And then as I was entering and the music was playing and the judges were nodding, they were like happy. And then I just didn't care who was saying what, you know. I moved that thing until when they were calling Miss Langelihle, and I was like, they called my name. I was like, are they serious? Am I the one who won this thing? And then from there, I got just 6 water glasses. That's what I won at that time. And I kept those as like, I don't know what. I still have one of those because the rest have been they've been broken. It's been over 15 years by now. So I still have one, though, which is kept somewhere very safe for me to say that was the turning point of my life, actually. That's when I realized that I got the potential. I don't care what other people think about me, what they see me as, I just didn't care. So from there, I went ahead and did my modeling. I was now entering other beauty contests outside of my town. You know, my mom was supporting me very much. She was always behind me. She would like, go for it, baby. And then, yeah, and then she started bringing me one of those lipsticks that are left by the guests. You know, if the guests were there and then they would leave lipsticks, she's like, yeah, no, clean it like a little bit and then put it on. You know, I'm like, you know, I'd like to look all that hot, and then I'll put nail polish, even though at school they didn't allow us to wear nail polish. I'll just put it on, and then after school I take it off. I mean, after the competition, and I take it off. So from there, life became quite very interesting. And then after that, I finished matric. That was grade 12. I finished grade 12, and I had to go to university. My mom didn't have money to pay for my studies, you know, so it was one of those difficult moments as well. So after that, I then had to come to Johannesburg. I applied at University of Johannesburg, and I was taken there to do a degree in psychology. So I left home with 100 rands, and the taxi was a 90 rand. So I only have a 10 rands. And I didn't know, I didn't have a place to stay in Johannesburg. So I didn't tell my parents that I don't have a place to stay, because my mom was going to worry and she was not going to allow me to go to Johannesburg if that's the case. So I then just lied to her. I said, no, I got the place, I'm okay. I just need to go there. Then she allowed me and said, okay, fine, go. Now, I was in Johannesburg. I landed, actually not landed, I got off the taxi and I was at the Parker station. Now, where do you go, Sisanda? You're in Johannesburg now. I don't know. I'm seeing these big buildings. They're so long. And I'm like, wow, I've seen this on TV. And I'm just looking. It's just too big. Everything is just, wow. Nobody's minding anybody's business. And you know, in my place where you're coming from, you can't just pass people without greeting. Believe you me, I was just greeting, hello, hello, hello. And people were going like, what the hell? Some were saying hi. So others were like, what happened to this one? Why is she greeting everybody? Because that's what I believe in. You can't pass people without having to greet them. So I went down to another place in a Parker station, and I found some guys that were having a storage place for the bags. So you pay money to store your bags and then fetch them the following day or whenever. So I just befriended them. I told them, oh, I'm coming from Guamhlabialingana. And then we started talking about the witchcraft thing, you know, because that's what our place is known as. So later I requested if I could just sleep in their storage place. The storage place is just made out of what we call bricks. You know, it's only bricks there. There is no, it's floor, so to say. It's floor. There is nothing, and then the door is made out of metal. You know, the garage door metal type of thing. So I obviously had to sleep in that. I didn't have a choice. So then after, I all slept with them in that place for like 2 days, 3 days, and then after they asked me, excuse me, ma'am, when are you going? And where are you going, by the way? I'm like, I know, I came to school. My uncle's going to come fetch me, but that was a lie. I didn't have no uncle to come fetch me. I just didn't have a place to stay there. That was it. So 3 days down the line, it was coming for Monday, then now I had to go. So I asked them, where is University of Johannesburg? Then they told me. I walked from Parker Station to Auckland Park. That's about 30 kilometers. And then from there, after walking that long, I then had to, you know, attend school and do all those things and everything. Leaving from the Parker Station. You know, so from the morning, I go to the Parker Station. From Parker Station, I go to university. And believe you me, I got very angry when I see other kids driving BMWs. You know, those big cars that are only dreamt of. And I don't even have a place to live. And I'm going in the same class with kids driving BMWs. How is this possible? You know, why? Where are they living? Where are they coming from? They're driving a BM and you're a student. You're actually the same age as mine. Some, they're even younger than me. I was like, this is not fair. You know, this is totally unfair. It's not going to happen. So at a later stage, I then realized that, you know, we're coming from different backgrounds and I have to accept that I'm not them and they're not me, so I had to live with it. So at the later, I stayed at the Parker Station for 3 months, taking a bath in a toilet sink, you know, where they wash their hands. I'll take a bath from there, and this was my life. You know, I was still attending university, you know, walking every day for about 60 k's going and coming back. So, but I had an idea where I'm going. I had an idea what I want, you know. I would study from the street lights and just sit under the street lights and take my book and then read once I'm done. I go back to the Parker Station, open the garage door, put my box, you know, the carton boxes, put them there, put on a jersey on top of me and sleep. That's what I was doing. So later I asked for a job somewhere in a spaza shop. I don't know if you guys know what's the spaza shop. You know, those small shops that they, informal shops, you know. So I asked for the job though. They were paying me 150 rands per week, which meant a lot to me. It was like, wow, I'm going to get paid. I don't care how much, but as much as there's money coming through, at least I'll change my life. I'll do something with it, you know. So from there, I moved out of Parker Station and got a small place to stay with a friend of mine. So that friend, I was paying 500, which was actually 85% of my salary. So 15% was just, that's all I had for my survival. So after that, life was slightly better, you know. So hence I was still staying at the with my friend's place in Joburg Park. It came to a most interesting part of my life whereby I went to this shop where they were doing photos. You know, they print photos. You take photo and then you go there, they print it for you, and then, you know, you have like something like this and stuff. So in that place, it was owned by the Chinese, actually South Koreans, sorry. So there was this guy called Sean, a very tall, first time in my life seeing a tall Chinese man, because all the Chinese that I knew, they were very short. So it was first time seeing a tall Chinese or South Korean guy and everything. So this guy kept on telling me every time I come there, he would tell me how beautiful I was, you know? And I'll be like, really? He's like, no, baby, you are very beautiful. Yeah, you are too beautiful. So he made me believe that I was beautiful. Like, he would say it every time. So he took my numbers. So I actually dated him. Yes. Come on, don't give me that face. He was cute. Duh. You'll understand. So after that, he was my first boyfriend, and he was just amazing. You know, one of those guys that would tell me how beautiful I was day after day, appreciate me, tell me, you know, good things. You know, he played a big role that made me believe in myself and believe that, you know what, I think indeed I am beautiful. Why this guy is telling me this thing all the time? You know, he would walk with me and hold my hand, and I never thought that that was possible, you know. So it came to a point whereby all the time I would actually think that, okay, so this means I'm the most beautiful girl that ever happened in South Africa. Wow, that's amazing. That's great. That's good. So with time, obviously, I then got another guy, Lucas Sisanda. I was doing my interviews with them, you know. Hence, I was doing the interviews with them. He said to me, "Where do you live? You're so brilliant. You seem to be very brilliant." I was like, "Oh no, well, I live in Johannesburg, somewhere around, you know." I couldn't disclose really where I was staying. So he says to me, "Okay, so how about you come stay with us? Because I think I would like to use someone like you know, work with you, because you're very brilliant. You can do a lot of stuff." So I was like, "Okay, sure." So I moved with him in Soweto. I was living there. My life started being better. Trust me, I had a bed for the first time, because since I was growing, I was never sleeping on the bed. I was sleeping on the floor. There's something called ikansi. It's made out of, it's something like this, in fact. You sleep on something like that. And from there, I had a bed of mine, and it's like, ooh, life is good now, you know. So everything was sweet. And then one day, my mom was supposed to send me some money because she didn't finish paying for my studies, because she got a loan from her work. So the money was not paid. So I was very hurt, you know, because they kept telling me that I need to pay, otherwise they will have to disqualify me. I won't write the exam, or I'll write the exam and not get the result and everything. So I was so hurt. I was walking past in Mandela Square. Sorry, not Mandela Square, Mandela Bridge, rather. So hence I was there. I was looking at the trains, and I thought, maybe I should just throw myself there and kill myself. You know, I think that's better. You know, I was like, why am I suffering this much? You know, I tried everything. I even worked. I even slept at the park station. I did a lot of things trying to survive. But since I was a baby, I never had good life. I never had perfect life. Everything just went falling on me. Why was that? Why am I never having happiness in my life, you know? So I thought, I might as well kill myself. You know, I might as well just die, because it's not useful. My grandmother was never working. She was living up to, you know, working as the same thing as my mother. And my mother did the same thing. I spent a lot of hours and hours studying on the street, trying to make life better, and life is not getting anywhere better. You know, why is that? Is God somewhere? Is he watching me? He can see I'm trying. I never sold my soul for anything. I never ran for quick things. I never went to sell my body and say, okay, I'm going to do prostitution because I don't have this. No, I understood that I was suffering, and then yet nothing is going right. You know what I'm saying? So I then decided and said, okay, fine, I'll kill myself. So I looked at that place and the bridge. I stood there, I looked down, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna throw myself in now, and point at the train that was coming and look at it. I'm like, okay, what? The one that is gonna come now, I'm gonna throw myself down and then die, and then that's it. It's over. I tried, God knows I did, but then it's just not working. Maybe this is not I was destined for. I was destined to suffer till I die, you know? So the train came through. I looked at it. I was like, okay, I'm throwing myself. And then just, I think, half a second, a split second before I could throw myself down, somebody just paused, and this homeless boy was singing a song like Mandoza's song, you know, that we used to sing with my little brothers. He was homeless. He was walking barefoot, and you could see, and he was singing and happy and stuff. I looked at him. I turned my back, and I looked at him. I was like, wow, why this guy is happy and I am not happy. At least I have a place to stay. I looked at myself. I was putting on shoes. I had Soviet boots, white boots that were Soviet. I was like, I'm wearing these shoes. This guy is not wearing shoes. You know, I got a jersey on. He ain't got no jersey on, but he's happy. Why am I unhappy? You know, why do I want to kill myself? He's leaving. Why can he not kill himself? Look at him. It's finished. If I was like that, I would have killed myself then. But maybe there's a better reason why should I live. So I then stopped it right there. And also because I remembered my Lee brothers when we used to sing that song, you know, rap together and stuff. And I'm like, no, man, you know, if I die, they will miss me, you know. So I stopped. I then walked away and sat there and cried, like so much that my T-shirts went really like wet because I just put my head on and then sat there and put my hands on my knees and I cried out loud. And then from there, I felt empty. You know, I felt this drive to say, I think there's a reason why I'm alive. I think if there was somebody to change my mother's situation, to break that thing that everybody believes, it's me, you know? So I went back, gone there and took a train rather, and went back to Soweto with this understanding that, you know what, I will change things. So after that, things were not really good. And then since I was now working in that tuck shop where I was selling stuffs and everything for 150 rands all the time, I then went to an internet cafe where I was applying for student exchange and whatsoever. And then a week after I was trying to kill myself, I got an email from Switzerland that I was accepted to do to go and study there. Somebody was coming this side. And believe you me, I thought, geez, what if I died? I would have missed the opportunity, you know? So I went to Switzerland to go and study there, which was one of the most amazing things. I've never been in a plane before. I was like, wow, my first plane experience will be like 9 hours. Whew, this is going to be amazing. I'm going to be on air, or what is going to happen? You know, I was so curious. I couldn't wait. I was telling everybody, yeah, you know, I'm going overseas, you know, to study there. I'll be there for 2 years and stuff. Yeah, it's going to be cool, you know. You know that thing, you know, I was thinking that, you know, I'm going to go on top of the clouds because I thought, you know, the clouds are far away on top, you know, so I was I'm going to go into the clouds and I'm going to go to heaven, the other side, you know. That was my whole understanding of overseas. So it was quite difficult, though, you know, having to leave your family and leave everything behind and go live in another place. Regardless of all this, I understood that, you know, my family was suffering. Though my life was getting better, my mom was still working as a housekeeper, and it was never easy. So when I got overseas, I didn't just sit and relax and say, yeah, no, I'm overseas now, I'm staying nicely. I started working there. So Europe is quite different from South Africa because it's very strict on work permits. They can't just hire you anywhere, you know. So I decided to remove snow from people's houses. So I went to buy a leisure. I don't know if you know this thing that they use to dig. Yes. I went to buy this thing myself and went to ask house by house, can I remove your snow or off the way, you know, when they're driving, because sometimes they're trying to move the car, the snow is too much. So I was removing snows in their houses and everything. They would pay me money. I would keep it and then send it back home and ask my mom to fix our home because my mother's house had like cracks on the wall and everything, so it wasn't nice anymore. So my mom was worried when I first sent her like 300 Swiss francs, which was almost like 3,500 rands. She was like, oh my God, are you doing prostitution there? I'm like, hell no, mommy, you know I wouldn't do that. So where did you get this money? Do you have a boyfriend? I'm like, well, yeah, in South Africa, but no, I'm not doing any of those things. So what's wrong? What are you doing? Where did you get this money from? I'm like, yeah, I'm removing snow from house to houses, you know. My hands were painful. I think if you can see my hands like this, it was one of those things because they were freezing from there. That 2 years, my hands were horrible. This is actually very better now. It was a result of that because my skin was always frozen. My blood was not flowing. So anytime when there's sun, my skin would crack. My fingers would crack. Like, it was horrible. But I didn't care because I was doing that for my family. I was doing that to make sure that my family, you know, things are getting better. And I know that my mom's roof will not fall apart, you know. So, in 2007, since I was leaving that side, I met another guy also and left. Before we get there, I came to South Africa to visit, and my current boyfriend at that time, which was from uh, South Korea, he dumped me. It was worse. It was painful. He said to me, "Yeah, baby, I think you're gonna need to sit down. May I tell you something?" I'm like, "Okay, shoot. Yeah, you need water." He offered me water. It was the first time being dumped, and that painfully. And then he said to me, "May I go back to Korea? So love finish." I'm like, "What?" He's like, "Yeah, I go back Korea, love finish. Me, you, no love." I'm like, "Please, you can't do that. You can't finish love." He's like, "Yeah, no love finish. Me, no want you, you no want me." I cried so much, Gogo. I was hurt, you know. It was painful. It was one guy that made me feel so special, and then all of a sudden he's dumping me, you know. So I get over it because obviously, as I was in Europe, it's very not so common to find black people in Switzerland, especially me. I was skinny and I was a model, and you know, I loved myself, so I was the center of attraction. Because I remember one day some cars crashed on each other in St. Gallen because I was wearing boots passing on the street, and then guys were looking at me, and then the guy went to hit on the other car, and I loved it, you know, though it was not a nice thing, but I loved to see the attention they were giving me. So I was not too hurt, but then, you know, I let it go. So I dated another guy, which we got really serious. He paid lobola and a lot of stuff that happened, you know. And then in 2008, my mom passed away, unfortunately. Yeah, I'm still gonna get to the bottom of it as to what happened because I'm still hurting because I was talking to her the night before, and then the following morning they told me that she's dead. She just slept and never woke up, and then the postmortem came out to say that she was poisoned. And I still want to figure out who must have done that to her because she was a precious woman, you know. She would never fight with nobody. She never had anything against nobody. She was the most beautiful woman